Chapter 28 The Artifact's Power. The morning sun filtered weakly through the dusty windows of the safe house, casting long, muted shadows across the room. The feeble light did little to brighten the dim, cluttered space where Mara, Kale, and Alara had spent a restless night. The weight of their recent discovery, an artifact from the caves of Alaris, hung heavy in the air. The relic's presence was both exhilarating and daunting, its significance unclear yet undeniably profound. They had barely slept, their minds consumed with the implications of the artifact and its potential impact on their mission. The trio gathered around a sturdy wooden table in the center of the room, the artifact laid out before them like a focal point of their collective anxiety and hope. The relic was an intricate piece, its surface etched with ancient runes and symbols that glimmered faintly in the weak light. Each symbol seemed to whisper secrets of a bygone era, hinting at the artifact's role in the grand scheme of their struggle. The room was filled with an air of palpable tension as they prepared to delve deeper into the mystery. Alara, who had dedicated countless hours to studying ancient texts and magical lore, took the lead in examining the artifact. Her fingers traced the complex patterns on its surface with a mix of reverence and concentration. "This artifact is far more than just a relic," she began, her voice carrying a tone of both awe and concern. "The text suggests it has the ability to amplify magical rituals and enhance their effects. This means it could play a crucial role in the conspiracy's plans." Mara leaned in closer, her eyes narrowed as she scrutinized the artifact's intricate designs. "So, if the artifact can amplify magical rituals, how does that fit into the assassination plot? What exactly are we dealing with here?" Her question was filled with urgency. The artifact's potential to alter the course of their mission was becoming increasingly clear, and understanding its full capabilities was essential. Kale, always the strategist, shifted his focus to the practical implications of their discovery. "If this artifact is used to enhance the conspiracy's rituals, it could be a significant threat. We need to figure out its exact capabilities and how it might be employed against us. Our enemies might use it to bolster their power or execute their plans more effectively." His mind raced through possible scenarios, analyzing how the artifact could impact their strategies and defenses. Alara nodded, her expression one of determination. "We need to neutralize its power if we want to prevent it from being used against us. There are likely ancient wards or countermeasures that can be employed to diminish its influence. We should consult every resource we have on magical artifacts and ancient protections to uncover any weaknesses this relic might have." As they delved into their research, the hours slipped away unnoticed. The artifact, once a mere object of interest, had become a critical component of their mission. The more they uncovered about its properties and potential uses, the clearer it became that their task was far from simple. The artifact's power was not just a tool, it was a formidable force that could change the dynamics of their struggle. The day's light gradually faded, leaving the safe house in the soft glow of lanterns and candlelight. Exhaustion began to set in, but Mara, Kale, and Alara pressed on, driven by the urgency of their situation. The artifact's role in the conspiracy was becoming clearer, and with each piece of information they uncovered, their determination to neutralize its threat grew stronger. They knew that understanding and controlling this relic was crucial to thwarting the assassination plot and ensuring the safety of their kingdoms. As the night wore on, the trio resolved to continue their efforts. The artifact had become central to their strategy, and its significance to the conspiracy was undeniable. With their newfound knowledge and a renewed sense of purpose, they prepared to confront the challenges that lay ahead, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them in their quest to protect their realm from impending disaster. Alara, who had spent the night poring over the texts and lore she had brought with her, was the first to break the tense silence. Her voice carried an edge of both excitement and trepidation, a reflection of the gravity of her findings. "This artifact is not just a powerful relic, it's central to the conspiracy's plans," she said, her tone steady but tinged with awe. As she spoke, her fingers traced the ancient symbols on the artifact's surface, her brow furrowed in deep concentration. The runes seemed to pulse slightly beneath her touch, as if responding to her scrutiny. The text described this artifact as a key to amplifying the effects of magical rituals, Alara continued, her eyes never leaving the intricate carvings. Its purpose goes beyond mere symbolism. It's designed to enhance and focus magical energies, which means it can directly influence the outcome of significant events. Her discovery was both exhilarating and alarming, as it implied that the artifact could potentially magnify the impact of whatever dark rituals the conspirators planned to perform. Mara leaned in closer, her curiosity piqued. "So, if the artifact can amplify magical rituals, what does that mean for us? How could it be used against us?" Her questions were sharp, driven by the urgency of understanding the full implications of their find. The prospect of facing an enemy with such a potent tool was daunting, and Mara's strategic mind raced with potential scenarios and countermeasures. Kale, ever the pragmatist, absorbed Alara's revelations with a steely resolve. "If this artifact is indeed as powerful as you suggest, we need to consider how it might be employed by the conspirators. They could use it to bolster their magical defenses, enhance their ritualistic ceremonies, or even manipulate events on a grand scale." His voice was firm, reflecting the seriousness of their situation. He began to outline potential strategies to counter the artifact's influence, focusing on how they might neutralize its effects. Alara nodded, her expression one of intense focus. "Exactly. The artifact's power could be pivotal to their plans, and if we don't find a way to mitigate its effects, we could be at a severe disadvantage. We need to find out if there are ancient wards or countermeasures that can neutralize or at least diminish the artifact's power." Her mind raced through the ancient lore she had studied, searching for any mention of protections against such potent relics. As they continued their discussion, the room was filled with a palpable sense of urgency. The implications of the artifact's power meant that their mission had just become even more critical. They were no longer just dealing with a threat, but facing a formidable force that could drastically alter the course of their efforts. The stakes were higher than ever, and their plan of action needed to adapt accordingly. Mara, Kale, and Alara worked late into the night, analyzing texts, cross-referencing ancient accounts, and devising strategies. The artifact, once a symbol of hope, had become a focal point of their strategy. They realized that understanding its full capabilities was essential to countering the conspiracy's plans. Their collective resolve was strengthened by the knowledge that their success hinged on their ability to neutralize or control this powerful relic. As dawn approached, the trio took a moment to regroup. Exhaustion was evident in their faces, but their determination remained unshaken. The artifact's significance was clear, and their next steps were crucial. They knew that mastering the artifact's power and thwarting the conspiracy's use of it was critical to their mission. With their resolve fortified, they prepared to face the challenges ahead, ready to leverage their knowledge and resources in the fight to protect their kingdoms from the looming threat. The morning sun filtered weakly through the dusty windows of the safe house, casting long, muted shadows across the room. Mara, Kale, and Alara had barely slept, their minds consumed with the significance of the artifact they had recovered from the caves of Alaris. The weight of their discovery was palpable, its impact both exhilarating and daunting. They gathered around a sturdy table in the center of the room, the artifact laid out before them. It was an intricately designed relic, its surface adorned with ancient runes and symbols that hinted at its profound significance. Alara, who had spent the night poring over the texts and lore she had brought with her, was the first to break the tense silence. Her voice carried an edge of both excitement and trepidation, a reflection of the gravity of her findings. "This artifact is not just a powerful relic, it's central to the conspiracy's plans," she said, her tone steady but tinged with awe. As she spoke, her fingers traced the ancient symbols on the artifact's surface, her brow furrowed in deep concentration. The runes seemed to pulse slightly beneath her touch, as if responding to her scrutiny. The text described this artifact as a key to amplifying the effects of magical rituals. Alara continued, her eyes never leaving the intricate carvings. Its purpose goes beyond mere symbolism. It's designed to enhance and focus magical energies, which means it can directly influence the outcome of significant events. Her discovery was both exhilarating and alarming, as it implied that the artifact could potentially magnify the impact of whatever dark rituals the conspirators planned to perform. Mara leaned in closer, her curiosity piqued. "So, if the artifact can amplify magical rituals, what does that mean for us? How could it be used against us?" Her questions were sharp, driven by the urgency of understanding the full implications of their find. The prospect of facing an enemy with such a potent tool was daunting, and Mara's strategic mind raced with potential scenarios and countermeasures. She knew that understanding the artifact's capabilities was crucial to devising an effective strategy. Kale, ever the pragmatist, absorbed Alara's revelations with a steely resolve. "If this artifact is indeed as powerful as you suggest, we need to consider how it might be employed by the conspirators. They could use it to bolster their magical defenses, enhance their ritualistic ceremonies, or even manipulate events on a grand scale." His voice was firm, reflecting the seriousness of their situation. He began to outline potential strategies to counter the artifact's influence, focusing on how they might neutralize its effects. Alara nodded, her expression one of intense focus. "Exactly. The artifact's power could be pivotal to their plans, and if we don't find a way to mitigate its effects, we could be at a severe disadvantage. We need to find out if there are ancient wards or countermeasures that can neutralize or at least diminish the artifact's power." Her mind raced through the ancient lore she had studied, searching for any mention of protections against such potent relics. As they continued their discussion, the room was filled with a palpable sense of urgency. The implications of the artifact's power meant that their mission had just become even more critical. They were no longer just dealing with a threat, but facing a formidable force that could drastically alter the course of their efforts. The stakes were higher than ever, and their plan of action needed to adapt accordingly. Mara, Kale, and Alara worked late into the night, analyzing texts, cross-referencing ancient accounts, and devising strategies. As dawn approached, the trio took a moment to regroup. Exhaustion was evident in their faces, but their determination remained unshaken. The artifact's significance was clear, and their next steps were crucial. They knew that mastering the artifact's power and thwarting the conspiracy's use of it was critical to their mission. With their resolve fortified, they prepared to face the challenges ahead, ready to leverage their knowledge and resources in the fight to protect their kingdoms from the looming threat. Kale, always the strategist, quickly turned his attention to the practical implications of their discovery. His analytical mind raced to consider how the artifact's power could shift the balance of their struggle. "If this artifact has the power to amplify rituals," he began, his tone serious, "it could be used to enhance the effectiveness of whatever plans the conspirators have in place." His eyes narrowed as he pondered the potential consequences. The artifact, once merely a mysterious relic, had now become a pivotal element in the ongoing conflict. His thoughts turned to the possible scenarios in which the artifact could be wielded against them. "We need to understand its full capabilities," Kale continued, his voice steady with purpose. "If the conspirators can harness its power, they might be able to perform more potent rituals, potentially altering the outcome of their plans. He began to list the ways the artifact could be used, from bolstering their enemies' magical defenses to amplifying dark rituals that could tip the scales in their favor. Cale's mind was already running through various strategies to counter the artifact's influence. He knew that to effectively combat this new threat, they needed a thorough understanding of the artifact's functions. "We have to anticipate how the conspirators might use this relic," he said, "and prepare countermeasures accordingly." His focus was on preventing the artifact from becoming a decisive advantage for their enemies. Each possibility was weighed and assessed, and he started mapping out potential responses and protective measures. As he considered the various applications of the artifact's power, Cale's strategic mind began to craft a plan. He envisioned scenarios where the artifact could be used in rituals to strengthen the conspirators' position. "We must explore all potential uses of this artifact," Cale advised, "and ensure that we have the means to neutralize its effects." His determination to stay ahead of the adversaries drove him to think critically about how the artifact could alter their plans and what steps they needed to take to mitigate its impact. The artifact's newfound significance in their struggle underscored the importance of careful planning and swift action. Cale's mind was abuzz with strategies to leverage their strengths and exploit any weaknesses in the conspirators' plans. "We need to develop a comprehensive strategy," he said, "that includes both defensive and offensive measures." The artifact was no longer just a relic to be guarded. It was a crucial asset that could either empower their enemies or be turned to their advantage. As the discussion deepened, Cale continued to analyze the artifact's potential impact on their mission. He considered both the immediate threats and the long-term implications of its power. "We must act quickly," he urged, "to secure our position and neutralize any potential advantages the conspirators might gain from using this artifact." His focus remained on ensuring that they were prepared for any eventuality, understanding that the artifact's influence could be a game-changer in their ongoing conflict. With a renewed sense of urgency, Cale emphasized the need for collaboration and information sharing. "We need to work closely with our allies," he said, "to gather additional intelligence and resources that can help us counteract the artifact's effects." His strategic approach required not just understanding the artifact but also mobilizing their collective strengths to address the emerging threat. The artifact's power had transformed their mission into a high-stakes endeavor where every decision and action mattered. As the team continued their preparations, Cale's strategic insights guided their efforts. The artifact was now a focal point of their plans, and its implications were woven into every aspect of their strategy. Cale's unwavering focus and meticulous planning were crucial as they navigated the complexities of their mission, determined to turn the artifact from a potential threat into a strategic advantage in their fight against the conspiracy. Alara nodded in agreement, her expression one of unwavering determination. Her years of study and expertise in magical artifacts and ancient lore made her acutely aware of the artifact's potential significance. "We need to find a way to neutralize its power," she said, her voice resolute. "If we can understand its weaknesses and limitations, we might be able to prevent the conspirators from using it to their advantage." Her words were not just a statement of intent but a strategic imperative. Alara's focus shifted to the intricate details of the artifact. "There are likely ancient wards or countermeasures that can be employed to diminish its influence," she continued, her eyes scanning the artifact with renewed intensity. She recalled similar artifacts from her studies that had been safeguarded by powerful enchantments and protective spells. The knowledge she had accumulated over the years would be instrumental in unraveling the artifact's mysteries and finding a way to neutralize its effects. Her extensive knowledge of magical artifacts provided her with a unique perspective on the task at hand. "I'll need to consult ancient texts and scrolls," Alara said, her mind already racing through potential sources of information. These documents might hold clues about the artifact's vulnerabilities or methods for diminishing its power. She knew that the key to counteracting the artifact's influence lay in understanding its construction and purpose from a historical and magical standpoint. Alara began to strategize how to approach the challenge. "We should start by examining any existing records about similar artifacts," she suggested. "Historical accounts, magical treatises, and even folklore could offer insights into the methods used to neutralize or control such powerful relics." Her plan was to gather a comprehensive understanding of the artifact's background and any historical precedents for counteracting its effects. As Alara delved into her research, her determination grew stronger. "This is not just about safeguarding the artifact," she explained. "It's about ensuring that it does not fall into the wrong hands and is not used to further the conspirators' agenda." Her commitment to unraveling the artifact's secrets was driven by the urgency of their mission and the potential consequences of failing to neutralize the threat it posed. Alara's approach was methodical and thorough. "I will need to cross-reference various sources and possibly consult with other experts in ancient magic," she said, outlining her plan. "The more we know about the artifact's nature and vulnerabilities, the better we can prepare our countermeasures." Her expertise and diligence would be critical in devising a strategy to protect their interests and counter the conspirators' plans. The task ahead was daunting, but Alara's resolve was unwavering. "We have to act swiftly," she emphasized, "as the conspirators are likely already devising their plans to exploit the artifact's power." Her focus was on finding a solution that would render the artifact ineffective in their enemies' hands and protect their mission from being undermined. As she began her research, Alara felt the weight of her responsibility. The artifact's power, combined with the conspirators' malevolent intentions, made their mission even more critical. "We must ensure that every possible measure is taken to neutralize this threat," she concluded, her voice filled with determination. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but with her expertise and the support of her allies, Alara was prepared to confront the artifact's dangers head-on and safeguard their mission. The trio spent hours immersed in their examination of the artifact, each moment steeped in both anticipation and concern. Alara meticulously scrutinized every rune and symbol, her eyes shifting between the artifact and the ancient texts sprawled out before them. Her expertise was evident as she translated the runes and cross-referenced them with her notes. The complexity of the artifact's inscriptions revealed a depth of magical influence that was both awe-inspiring and alarming. Each symbol seemed to hold secrets that could potentially reshape their understanding of the artifact's purpose. Meanwhile, Mara and Kale were deep in debate over the practical implications of their findings. Mara's analytical mind raced through the potential applications and consequences of the artifact's power. "We need to understand not just how this artifact works," she argued, "but how it could be manipulated to serve the conspirators' agenda." Her frustration was evident, as she realized that every piece of information they uncovered only seemed to complicate their task further. The artifact was not just a tool, it was a central element in a broader, more intricate plot. Kale, with his strategic acumen, focused on the broader implications of their findings. He mapped out potential scenarios, considering how the artifact could be employed in various ways to amplify the effects of the assassination plot. This artifact could be used to enhance magical rituals or influence key political figures, he mused, his voice laced with concern. "We must anticipate how the conspirators might use it to their advantage and develop countermeasures accordingly." His analysis highlighted the gravity of their situation, emphasizing the need for a well-thought-out strategy. As the hours passed, the trio's sense of urgency grew more acute. The artifact was revealing itself to be far more than a mere relic. It was a powerful force capable of altering the course of their mission. Elara's discoveries about its magical properties underscored the artifact's potential to impact their efforts in profound ways. Every revelation we make about this artifact only amplifies the stakes, she said, her voice tinged with both exhaustion and determination. The artifact's significance was becoming increasingly clear, and with it, the urgency of their task. The complexity of the artifact's nature began to intertwine with the political machinations they were up against. The plot they faced was not just a simple assassination scheme, it was a sophisticated conspiracy that melded magic and politics in dangerous ways. We're dealing with a scheme that's more intricate than we initially thought, Mara reflected, her brow furrowed in contemplation. The artifact is a key piece in a much larger puzzle that involves both magical and political elements. Their collective frustration mounted as they grappled with the artifact's implications. Each new piece of information seemed to complicate their mission further, revealing layers of the conspiracy they had not anticipated. The urgency of their situation became a driving force, pushing them to work faster and more effectively. We need to find a way to counteract this artifact's power before the conspirators can exploit it, Kale said firmly, his resolve unwavering despite the mounting pressure. Despite their mounting stress, the trio's resolve remained unshaken. They knew that understanding and neutralizing the artifact's power was crucial to thwarting the assassination plot and ensuring the safety of their kingdoms. The stakes have never been higher, Elara admitted, her voice steady. We need to use every resource at our disposal to address this threat. Her determination was matched by her companions, who were equally committed to unraveling the artifact's secrets. As they continued their work, the gravity of their mission weighed heavily on them. The artifact was no longer just an object of study, it had become a pivotal element in their struggle against the conspiracy. With every revelation, the path forward became clearer, but the challenges remained daunting. The trio's focus remained unwavering as they pushed forward, driven by the knowledge that their efforts could mean the difference between success and disaster. As night descended, casting a soft, oppressive veil over their surroundings, Mara, Kale, and Elara took a well-earned pause from their relentless work. The room was dimly lit by flickering candlelight, shadows dancing across the walls as they gathered around the table. Their faces, marked by fatigue and the weight of their responsibilities, reflected a mix of determination and weariness. The artifact lay at the center of their makeshift command center, its intricate runes and symbols glowing softly under the candle's light. The silence of the room was a stark contrast to the chaos they had been navigating all day, providing a brief respite for reflection. The artifact, once just a mysterious object, had become central to their strategy. Its significance in the conspiracy had grown clearer with each piece of information they uncovered. Mara's mind raced through the implications of their findings. We've learned so much, but there's still so much more to understand, she said, her voice carrying a note of exhaustion. This artifact could change everything. We need to use our knowledge wisely. Her words underscored the artifact's pivotal role in their mission and the necessity of fully grasping its power. Kale, ever the strategist, weighed their current position and the path forward. We're not just dealing with an assassination plot anymore, he observed, rubbing his temples in fatigue. The artifact's power means that we have to rethink our entire approach. If the conspirators can use it to amplify their plans, we need to be one step ahead. His strategic mindset was focused on devising new tactics and countermeasures to neutralize the artifact's influence, ensuring they were prepared for every eventuality. Elara, who had spent much of the evening poring over ancient texts and lore, offered her insights with a mix of hope and caution. Understanding the artifact's weaknesses is just as important as knowing its strengths, she said, her fingers tracing the runes on the artifact. There are ancient wards and countermeasures that might help us diminish its influence. We need to explore these options and prepare for how the artifact could be used against us. Her extensive knowledge was crucial in identifying potential vulnerabilities and developing strategies to mitigate them. As they reviewed their progress, the trio's resolve was strengthened by the gravity of their task. The artifact's power was undeniable, and its central role in the conspiracy highlighted the importance of their mission. "We've made significant strides," Mara said, her voice tinged with both determination and fatigue. "But this is just the beginning. We need to stay focused and adapt our plans as we learn more." The artifact's influence on their strategy was profound, shaping their next steps in the fight against the conspiracy. Despite their exhaustion, the trio was acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The artifact's power and its potential use by the conspirators meant that their mission had become even more complex. "We're dealing with a threat that's more intricate than we imagined," Cale admitted, his gaze fixed on the artifact. "But we have the knowledge and the determination to face it. We need to leverage everything we've learned and stay united." His resolve to overcome the challenges was matched by Mara and Alara, who were equally committed to their cause. As the night wore on, Mara, Cale, and Alara prepared to confront the obstacles that lay ahead. Their exhaustion was palpable, but their spirits were buoyed by the knowledge they had gained and their unwavering resolve. The artifact's role in the conspiracy had become a focal point of their strategy, and they were determined to use it to their advantage. With each passing hour, their plans took shape, guided by the insights they had gathered and the strength of their commitment to securing their kingdoms. With the dawn of a new day on the horizon, the trio knew that their work was far from over. The artifact's power was both a boon and a burden, and they had to be prepared for whatever came next. Their focus was clear, and their determination was steadfast. As they braced themselves for the challenges ahead, they drew strength from their shared purpose and the knowledge that their efforts could make a crucial difference in thwarting the assassination plot and ensuring the safety of their realms. Chapter 29: An Intimate Moment. The chaos of their mission was relentless, with every hour bringing a new challenge or complication. The weight of their responsibilities pressed heavily on their shoulders, leaving little room for personal reprieve. Amidst the constant flurry of activity, the safe house had become a haven of sorts, albeit a tense one. Strategic meetings were frequent, each one a race against time to address the latest threat or to patch up the crumbling alliances. Despite their best efforts, the pressure to maintain control and execute their plans weighed heavily on them. Moments of respite were rare and fleeting, often interrupted by urgent messages or sudden crises that demanded their immediate attention. The relentless pace of their work left little room for rest, and their days were a blur of constant activity and strategic deliberations. Yet, within the confines of the safe house, there were brief interludes of quiet, precious pockets of calm in the midst of the storm. The safe house itself, though a sanctuary from the chaos outside, was not immune to the tension that gripped its occupants. The room was filled with the quiet hum of exhaustion, punctuated only by the occasional crackle of the fireplace. Its warmth provided a small comfort against the biting chill of their surroundings, but it did little to alleviate the strain that lingered in the air. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on the walls, adding a subtle layer of surreal calm to the otherwise fraught atmosphere. It was during one of these rare moments of stillness, as the world outside seemed momentarily subdued, that Mara and Cale found themselves drawn together. Their conversations, once strictly professional, had begun to take on a more personal tone. The shared experiences and the weight of their mission had forged a bond that went beyond mere camaraderie. In the quiet of the safe house, with the world momentarily on hold, they found solace in each other's presence. Their interactions, once confined to strategy and logistics, began to reveal a deeper connection. Mara and Cale spoke with a candor that was both surprising and intimate, their discussions often drifting from the immediate concerns of their mission to more personal reflections. The intensity of their shared experiences had created a space where vulnerability and understanding could flourish, even amidst the chaos. As they spoke, their conversations grew increasingly revealing, touching on fears, hopes, and the toll their mission had taken on them both. The safe house, though a place of strategic planning and relentless activity, also became a backdrop for these quieter, more personal moments. It was in this juxtaposition of tension and tranquility that Mara and Kale began to explore the depth of their feelings for each other. The rare stillness offered them a chance to reconnect on a level that was both comforting and enlightening. They found in each other not just a partner in their mission, but a confidant who understood the weight of their shared burden. In these moments, the harsh realities of their situation were momentarily set aside, allowing them to embrace a connection that had grown stronger with each passing day. As the days continued to blur together, the moments of calm became a precious sanctuary for Mara and Kale. These interludes offered them a respite from the relentless pace of their mission, allowing them to reflect on their journey and the evolving nature of their relationship. The safe house, with its quiet hum and crackling fireplace, became a place where their bond deepened, and where, despite the chaos, they found a glimmer of hope and connection amidst the storm. As the evening drew in, the room was bathed in the soft, flickering glow of the fire, its warm light dancing across the walls and casting gentle, wavering shadows. The hearth, a small beacon of comfort amidst the chaos, provided a soothing contrast to the turmoil of the days that had preceded it. The crackling flames and the subtle scent of burning wood created an ambience of quiet tranquility, offering a momentary reprieve from the relentless strain of their mission. The intensity of the past few days had left Mara and Kale both physically and emotionally drained. Their days were consumed by the relentless pursuit of their goals, and the constant pressure of the artifact and the conspiracy had taken a toll on them. The weight of their responsibilities pressed heavily upon them, leaving them exhausted but resolute. The once clear lines between their professional and personal lives had blurred, the strain of their shared burden bringing their vulnerabilities to the forefront. Their shared burden, the artifact, and the intricate web of conspiratorial intrigue had forged a bond between them that transcended mere camaraderie. The artifact was more than just a relic. It was a symbol of their struggle, and its significance had deepened their connection. The daily trials they faced together had created a mutual understanding that went beyond words, a silent recognition of the sacrifices they both made for the greater good. The proximity of their shared struggles had brought an unspoken closeness into sharper focus. Each glance, each shared moment of silent reflection, revealed a growing intimacy that neither had fully acknowledged until now. The intense pressure of their situation had stripped away many of the barriers between them, allowing a deeper, more personal connection to emerge. The quiet moments in the safe house became a sanctuary where this newfound closeness could flourish. As they sat together by the fire, their conversations took on a more personal tone. The once professional exchanges now carried an undercurrent of something more profound. They spoke of their fears, their hopes, and the burdens they carried, finding solace in each other's presence. The safe house, with its dim light and warm hearth, became a place where they could be vulnerable, sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings in a way they hadn't before. The fire's gentle glow illuminated their faces, highlighting the weariness and determination etched into their expressions. The warmth of the flames seemed to soften the harsh edges of their experiences, offering a temporary escape from the relentless pressure they faced. In these moments of quiet reflection, Mara and Kale found themselves drawing closer, their shared experiences creating a bond that was both comforting and revealing. As the evening wore on, the room seemed to shrink around them, focusing their attention on each other. The world outside faded into the background, leaving them with the profound realization of how much they had come to rely on each other. The bond they had forged in the crucible of their shared struggle had become a source of strength and solace, providing them with a sense of connection that was both unexpected and deeply meaningful. In the soft glow of the firelight, Mara and Cale allowed themselves to embrace this new dimension of their relationship. The evening, though marked by the remnants of their exhaustion, became a testament to the depth of their connection. The gentle shadows and the warmth of the fire created a backdrop for their growing intimacy, offering a glimpse into a bond that had evolved amidst the chaos of their mission. Mara sat by the fireplace, her gaze fixed on the dancing flames, lost in the profound depths of her thoughts. The fire's gentle crackle was the only sound that punctuated the silence, a soothing background to her turbulent emotions. The flickering light played over her face, casting shifting shadows that mirrored the turmoil within. Her mind wandered through the labyrinth of their recent trials, reflecting on the sacrifices and decisions that had led them to this moment. Across the room, Cale had just finished reviewing the latest set of intelligence reports, his sharp mind already racing through the implications of the new information. The burden of their mission weighed heavily on him, evident in the slight slump of his shoulders and the fatigue etched into his features. Seeking a moment of respite, he made his way to the fireplace, drawn by the warmth and the rare tranquility it offered. The room, bathed in the golden glow of the fire, seemed to provide a temporary sanctuary from their relentless struggles. As he settled into a chair opposite Mara, the silence between them was thick with unspoken words. The intensity of their shared experiences had forged a bond that was both undeniable and deeply felt. Though neither spoke immediately, the air between them was charged with a mutual understanding that transcended the need for conversation. The quietude of the room became a space where their thoughts and emotions could intermingle without the interference of words. The warmth of the fire softened the harsh lines of Cale's expression, providing a brief respite from the constant pressure they faced. He leaned back in the chair, allowing himself to be enveloped by the comforting heat. The firelight illuminated his face, revealing the exhaustion that had become a constant companion in their journey. The flickering flames seemed to mirror the flickers of thought and emotion that played across his features as he glanced occasionally at Mara. Mara, lost in her contemplation, was aware of Cale's presence but chose to remain silent for a moment longer. The soft light of the fire highlighted the contours of her face, revealing a weariness that matched his own. The warmth from the hearth was a gentle comfort against the chill of the night, creating an atmosphere that invited reflection and connection. Her mind continued to churn with the weight of their mission, yet there was a solace in the quiet shared with Cale. The silence between them began to bridge the gap that their exhaustion had created. It was a silence filled with the echoes of their shared challenges and victories, a space where they could acknowledge their growing bond without the need for words. As they sat in the fire's glow, their proximity felt like a cocoon, offering a momentary escape from the pressures that loomed large outside. After a few moments, Cale broke the silence, his voice soft but resonant. "It's strange how the calm can feel so heavy," he said, his tone reflective. His words were not just an observation but a shared sentiment, an expression of the complexities that had become a part of their lives. Mara turned to face him, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of empathy and understanding. Their conversation, though brief, was a testament to the depth of their connection. In the quiet comfort of the room, amidst the crackle of the fire, and the shadows it cast, Mara and Cale found a moment of respite. The warmth of the fire and the silence between them became a backdrop to their growing closeness, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had formed through their trials. After a few moments of shared silence, the tranquility of the room was gently disrupted by Cale's voice, soft and tentative. He broke the stillness with a statement that carried a weight of vulnerability. "It's strange," he began, his tone reflective as he gazed at Mara. The exhaustion etched into his features seemed to fade, replaced by a flicker of something deeper. The firelight danced across his face, casting an intimate glow that highlighted the sincerity in his eyes. Mara turned her attention fully to him, her own thoughts momentarily halted by his words. The way he looked at her, with an intensity that went beyond mere fatigue, made her heart skip a beat. She sensed the importance of what he was about to reveal, her own emotions stirring in response. Cale's words were carefully chosen, his usual strategic demeanor giving way to a more personal and raw expression. He paused, searching for the right words to convey the depth of his feelings. His gaze dropped momentarily, as if the enormity of his confession required a moment of introspection. The silence between them grew heavier, filled with the unspoken understanding of what was being shared. Cale's heart raced, his feelings for Mara surfacing in a way he had not fully anticipated. The words felt like a fragile bridge, spanning the gap between their intense experiences and their evolving relationship. When he finally continued, his voice held a hint of trepidation. "I've found that I care about you more than I thought I would." His admission was a quiet revelation, a testament to the bond that had formed between them through their shared trials. The sincerity in his voice cut through the layers of their mutual exhaustion, laying bare the emotional connection that had developed amidst the chaos. Mara's eyes met his, and in that moment she saw the depth of his emotion mirrored in her own heart. The weight of his confession resonated with her, stirring a response that was both unexpected and profound. The intensity of their recent experiences had forged a connection that neither had fully acknowledged until now. Her own feelings, which had been growing in the background, suddenly came into sharp focus against the backdrop of Cale's heartfelt words. The room's warmth seemed to envelop them both, the fire's glow casting a gentle light on their faces as they shared this intimate moment. The silence that followed was filled with the unspoken acknowledgement of their feelings, a quiet understanding that transcended the need for further words. The confession, though simple in its phrasing, held a depth of meaning that bridged the gap between their professional partnership and their personal connection. As they sat together, the emotional landscape between them shifted. The chaos and danger of their mission, while still present, momentarily receded into the background. The shared silence, now tinged with the new layer of understanding, became a space where their feelings for each other could be quietly explored. The realization of their care for one another added a new dimension to their relationship, one that was both tender and significant. Mara took a deep breath, her own heart reflecting the sincerity of Cale's confession. The intimacy of the moment brought a sense of calm amidst the storm of their lives. She reached out, her hand gently brushing against his, a simple gesture that conveyed her own feelings. The shared connection, now openly acknowledged, provided a glimmer of solace and strength as they faced the challenges that lay ahead. Mara's eyes lifted to meet Cale's, and a mixture of surprise and relief crossed her features. The weight of their unspoken feelings seemed to lift slightly, replaced by a shared vulnerability that filled the space between them. She took a deep breath, her gaze steady as she grappled with the truth of her own emotions. The firelight flickered across her face, highlighting the sincerity and depth of her response. "I've been feeling the same," she admitted, her voice soft but steady. The words, though simple, carried the weight of her genuine emotion. There was a tenderness in her tone that spoke of the growing bond between them, forged through their shared trials and the intimate moments they had experienced. The acknowledgement of her feelings was a release, a moment of clarity amidst the chaos of their mission. "This mission," Mara continued, her voice trailing off slightly as she gathered her thoughts. "Everything we've faced together, it's made me realize how important you are to me." Her eyes never left his, her gaze filled with a mixture of affection and gratitude. The confession was not just about their current feelings but also a recognition of the significance of their shared journey. The dangers they had faced and the struggles they had overcome together had deepened their connection in ways they had not anticipated. Her heart swelled with a blend of emotion and affection, the acknowledgement of their feelings providing a rare moment of solace. The intensity of their shared experiences had revealed layers of their personalities and hearts that might have remained hidden under other circumstances. This quiet exchange, in the midst of their tumultuous mission, offered them a brief respite and a sense of personal connection that was both comforting and profound. Cale's expression softened, his own feelings mirrored in the warmth of Mara's confession. The relief and happiness in his eyes were evident, his usual composure giving way to the sincerity of the moment. "I didn't know how to say it," he confessed, his voice filled with a mixture of vulnerability and gratitude. "But hearing you say that, it means everything to me." His words, though simple, conveyed the depth of his emotions and the importance of their shared bond. The fire crackled softly in the background, its gentle light casting a warm glow on their faces. The silence that followed was filled with a new understanding, a quiet acknowledgement of their mutual feelings. The connection between them, now openly recognized, provided a comforting sense of closeness amidst the chaos of their mission. It was a moment of calm, a precious interlude that allowed them to focus on each other despite the turmoil surrounding them. Mara reached out, her hand gently brushing against Cale's, a simple gesture that spoke volumes. The contact was tender and reassuring, a physical manifestation of the emotional connection they had just acknowledged. Their fingers intertwined, the warmth of their touch providing a sense of intimacy and comfort. The gesture was a silent promise of support and affection, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggle. As they sat together, their shared feelings created a space of calm within the storm of their lives. The emotional landscape between them had shifted, adding a new layer of depth to their relationship. The solace they found in each other's presence was a rare and precious moment, one that fortified their resolve as they prepared to face the challenges ahead. The realization of their care for one another offered them strength and a renewed sense of purpose in their mission. Their confessions hung in the air, a delicate thread woven into the fabric of their strained reality. The weight of their shared emotions seemed to transform the space between them, creating an intimate cocoon amidst the chaos of their situation. The truth of their feelings, once unspoken, now pulsed with a palpable intensity that bridged the gap between their hearts. This moment of vulnerability, fragile yet powerful, offered a rare glimpse of tenderness in an otherwise turbulent time. The intensity of their connection was palpable, a silent acknowledgement of the bond they had formed through their trials and tribulations. Their shared experiences had forged a closeness that transcended mere partnership. It had become a profound connection that demanded recognition. Despite the turmoil surrounding them, this quiet moment allowed them to embrace their emotions and confront their feelings with a raw honesty that had been long overdue. Yet the confines of their situation forced them to confront their feelings in this moment of quiet, making their vulnerability all the more significant. The safe house, with its dimly lit corners and the crackling warmth of the fire, provided a rare sanctuary where their emotional exchange could take place. It was a stark contrast to the harsh realities they faced outside, but it was precisely this respite that made their confessions feel all the more poignant. Cale reached across the space between them, his movements deliberate and filled with a sense of reverence. His hand found Mara's, and he took it gently in his own, the touch both tender and reassuring. The contact was a physical manifestation of the bond they had developed amidst the chaos, a simple gesture that conveyed the depth of their feelings without the need for words. It was a moment of connection that spoke volumes, bridging the emotional gap that had been so evident in their earlier interactions. The warmth of Cale's hand enveloped Mara's, providing a sense of comfort and solidarity. The simple act of holding hands became a symbol of their mutual support, a reassurance that they were not alone in their struggles. The softness of the touch and the steady pressure of his grip conveyed a depth of emotion that words alone could not fully capture. It was a moment of profound intimacy, an acknowledgement of the trust and affection they had developed. Mara looked at Cale, her eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and tenderness. The warmth of his touch, combined with the sincerity of their exchange, created a space of calm and connection that was both comforting and uplifting. In the midst of their mission and the pressures they faced, this quiet moment of shared understanding provided a rare sense of solace. It was a reminder of the strength they drew from each other, a source of reassurance as they prepared to face the challenges ahead. Their hands remained intertwined, a silent promise of support and affection. The simple gesture was a testament to their growing closeness, a physical representation of the emotional bond that had deepened through their shared experiences. As they sat together, the warmth of their connection provided a much-needed reprieve from the intensity of their mission, offering them a moment of calm amidst the storm. As the fire crackled softly in the background, the room seemed to shrink around them, making their shared space feel even more intimate. The emotional landscape between them had shifted, adding a new layer of depth to their relationship. This quiet interlude, framed by the soft glow of the fire and the hushed tones of their voices, became a cherished moment of connection that would fortify them as they moved forward in their mission. As the firelight danced on their faces, Mara and Cale shared a quiet, intimate moment, their connection deepening in the soft, flickering glow. The warmth of the flames illuminated their features, casting gentle shadows that seemed to enhance the closeness they felt. The intimate ambience created a cocoon of solace amidst the chaos of their lives, allowing them a rare opportunity to focus solely on each other. The fire's light seemed to encapsulate their shared warmth and growing bond, highlighting the sincerity of their feelings. Their hands remained clasped, a simple yet profound symbol of their mutual support and emerging affection. The gentle pressure of their intertwined fingers conveyed a silent promise of solidarity, offering reassurance in the midst of uncertainty. Each touch and squeeze carried a depth of emotion, expressing more than words ever could. The act of holding hands became a cherished gesture, signifying their united front against the trials they faced. The world outside felt momentarily distant, a distant hum compared to the closeness they shared in that quiet room. The cacophony of their mission, the urgency of their situation, and the looming threats seemed to fade away as they focused entirely on each other. This fleeting respite allowed them to escape the relentless pressure of their circumstances, offering a brief sanctuary where they could simply be present for one another. In the midst of their turbulent lives and the pressing danger that loomed, they found comfort and strength in their growing connection. The chaos of their mission had forged an unexpected bond, one that provided not just emotional support but also a source of fortitude. This connection became a vital anchor, grounding them as they navigated through their perilous journey and the challenges that awaited them. The solace they found in each other's presence was a much-needed reprieve from the intensity of their situation. It offered a moment of calm and understanding that contrasted sharply with the turmoil outside. The intimacy they shared in that quiet moment provided a rare form of peace, a gentle reminder of the strength they drew from one another amidst the storm of their lives. As the fire crackled softly in the background, the room became a haven of warmth and connection, a sanctuary where their bond could flourish. The subtle glow of the flames accentuated the tenderness between them, highlighting the significance of their growing relationship. This intimate moment was a testament to their shared journey, a poignant reminder of the depth of their feelings and the importance of their connection. Their shared solitude, framed by the soft illumination of the firelight, offered a profound sense of unity. It was a time to reflect on their journey and the strength they found in each other. The calm and quiet of the room created a space where their emotions could surface freely, reinforcing their commitment to each other and their mission. This cherished interlude, framed by the fire's gentle glow and the warmth of their closeness, became a source of renewed strength and determination. As they faced the challenges ahead, the solace and support they drew from their connection would sustain them, fortifying their resolve and guiding them through the trials that lay in their path. With the warmth of the fire enveloping them, Mara and Cale embraced the quiet intimacy of their moment, letting its gentle heat seep into their weary bodies. The crackling flames cast a comforting glow over the room, providing a stark contrast to the chaos and tension that had defined their recent days. In this cocoon of warmth, they found solace, allowing themselves to fully appreciate the bond that had blossomed amidst the storm of their journey. The quiet of the evening seemed to amplify their connection, making the moment all the more precious. The stillness of the room was a rare gift, offering a fleeting pause in their otherwise relentless struggle. It was a significant reprieve, a chance to reflect on their shared experiences and the strength of their partnership. This brief escape from their demanding mission allowed them to acknowledge the depth of their feelings for each other, a realization that had been growing subtly but was now unmistakably clear. The quiet intimacy between them was a testament to how their relationship had evolved under pressure. As they sat close together, the closeness they had developed took on a new significance. Their shared resolve to face the trials ahead was bolstered by this newfound intimacy. The bond they had forged was more than just a connection born of necessity. It had become a vital source of emotional strength. The warmth of their shared presence offered a sense of security and reassurance that was essential as they prepared for the challenges yet to come. The gentle crackling of the fire provided a soothing backdrop to their reflective silence. It was as if the flames themselves were offering a sense of calm and continuity, a reminder that even in the midst of their struggles, there was a steady source of support in each other. The flickering light cast soft shadows on their faces, highlighting the sincerity of their emotions and the deepening of their bond. The moment, though brief, was rich with meaning and significance. It was a testament to their resilience and the strength of their partnership, forged through shared trials and unwavering support. The intimacy they shared in that quiet space was a powerful affirmation of their commitment to each other and to their mission. It was a reminder that even amidst the most daunting challenges, there was a profound connection that sustained them. As the night wore on, Mara and Cale remained entwined in their quiet closeness, each feeling the strength that their bond provided. The warmth from the fire and the comfort of each other's presence offered a rare respite from the pressures they faced. This moment of calm was a crucial counterbalance to the intensity of their journey, reinforcing their determination to overcome the obstacles ahead. Their shared resolve to face the future was now tempered by the closeness they had found in each other. The strength of their partnership was no longer just a matter of strategic necessity. It was a deeply personal connection that offered emotional fortitude. As they prepared to confront the battles yet to come, they did so with the knowledge that they were not only allies but partners bound by genuine affection. In the quiet aftermath of their moment together, Mara and Cale felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The intimacy they had shared was a beacon of strength, guiding them through the tumultuous path that lay ahead. With their bond reaffirmed and their spirits fortified, they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited them, knowing that their connection would be a source of unwavering support and courage. Chapter 30. A Critical Decision. The weight of the artifact, now a symbol of their daunting mission, seemed to press heavily upon Mara, Cale, and Alara. The relic's importance was evident in every furrowed brow and every silent glance exchanged among them. They had meticulously examined its power and implications, and the burden of its significance added a palpable tension to their already fraught environment. The artifact, with its intricate symbols and mysterious aura, had become more than just a piece of their mission. It was a constant reminder of the peril they faced. The safe house, which had initially offered a semblance of refuge from the chaos outside, had transformed into the epicenter of their strategic planning. What was once a place of temporary respite now overflowed with the detritus of their tireless efforts. Maps were spread across tables, their edges curling from constant handling, while notes and scribbled observations littered every available surface. The room, once orderly and inviting, had become a chaotic reflection of their intense and unrelenting focus. In the midst of this cluttered space, the air was thick with anticipation and the strain of impending decisions. Each creak of the floorboards and each rustle of paper seemed to echo the urgency of their situation. The weight of their mission pressed upon them, amplifying the gravity of the choices they needed to make. Every decision felt critical, each one carrying the potential to shift the balance of their struggle against the conspiracy. As they gathered around the table, the gravity of their situation became unmistakable. Their faces, illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns and the flickering light of the fireplace, were etched with concentration and fatigue. The discussion was subdued but intense, as they reviewed their plans and reassessed their strategies. The enormity of their task lay before them, and the artifact's role in the unfolding conspiracy loomed large in their minds. The enormity of their task weighed heavily on their shoulders as they reviewed their strategies. The artifact's significance in the conspiracy was undeniable, and every plan they formulated was influenced by its potential impact. The intensity of their discussions reflected their commitment to preventing the assassination and protecting their kingdoms. Each plan and countermeasure was meticulously scrutinized, with every detail considered crucial to their success. Despite their exhaustion, the trio remained resolute, their focus unwavering as they confronted the challenges ahead. The safe house, now a hive of activity and tension, bore silent witness to their determination and resolve. The artifact, resting ominously at the center of their strategic efforts, was both a symbol of their mission and a constant reminder of the high stakes involved. As they continued to strategize, the urgency of their mission drove them forward, each member of the team fortified by their shared sense of purpose. Alara was the first to speak, her voice steady despite the visible strain etched on her face. The weight of their findings was apparent in her measured tone and the furrow of her brow. "We've deciphered the artifact's power and its potential impact on the assassination plot," she began, her gaze steady as she addressed Mara and Kale. "It's clear now that the artifact can significantly amplify the effectiveness of the conspirators' rituals, which makes our task all the more urgent." The words hung heavily in the room, their implications settling over the trio like a dense fog. She took a moment to let the significance of their findings sink in, her eyes moving from Mara to Kale as if seeking their confirmation. The artifact, once a mysterious relic, was now a pivotal piece in their struggle, its power both a potential advantage and a dire threat. Alara's face reflected the gravity of the situation, and the pause she took allowed the reality of their circumstances to fully resonate with her companions. Alara continued, her voice unwavering despite the fatigue that marked her features. "However, we're faced with a critical choice," she said, her tone carrying the weight of the decision they were about to make. "We can either use the artifact's power to counteract the conspirators' plans, leveraging its abilities to undermine their efforts from within, or we can find a way to neutralize it completely to prevent them from harnessing its power against us." The dilemma was stark, presenting two distinct paths with far-reaching consequences. The room fell into a contemplative silence as Mara and Kale absorbed the gravity of Alara's words. The artifact's dual potential, both as a tool for their advantage and a threat that could be used against them, left them with a formidable choice. The prospect of wielding the artifact's power to counteract the conspirators' plans was enticing, yet fraught with risks, while neutralizing it entirely offered a sense of security but potentially forfeited a strategic advantage. Mara leaned forward, her eyes narrowing in thought as she considered the implications of each option. "If we decide to use the artifact's power, we must ensure that we control it carefully," she said, her voice steady but tinged with concern. "The risk is that if we lose control or if the conspirators find a way to counter our use of it, we could be in an even more precarious position." Her words reflected the intricate balance they needed to maintain in their strategy. Kale, who had been silent, now spoke up with a strategic tone. On the other hand, neutralizing the artifact could eliminate a major risk but also remove a potential asset in our fight, he reasoned. It's crucial that we weigh the benefits of using it against the security of rendering it powerless. We need to decide which course of action will give us the best chance of success while safeguarding our position and minimizing risks. The weight of their decision was evident in the tension that lingered in the air, as the trio faced a pivotal moment in their mission. Kale leaned forward, his brow furrowed in deep contemplation as he considered the gravity of their situation. His eyes locked on the artifact, which lay at the center of their debate, its ancient runes reflecting the dim light of the room. Using the artifact could give us an edge in disrupting their plans, he began, his voice deliberate and measured. It has the potential to significantly influence the outcome of their rituals, which might provide us with a strategic advantage. However, we must acknowledge that this option comes with considerable risks. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in, his gaze moving between Mara and Elara. The problem is, we don't fully understand the artifact's potential for damage. If we misstep or fail to control its power effectively, we could inadvertently strengthen the conspirators' position rather than weaken it. The artifact's very nature makes it a double-edged sword. Its power could be a boon or a bane, depending on how it's wielded. Kale's expression grew more serious as he continued, the intensity of his focus sharpening. On the other hand, neutralizing the artifact entirely would eliminate the risk of it falling into the wrong hands or being used against us. It would ensure that our enemies can't exploit its power to further their own agenda. But this approach also comes with its own set of consequences. By removing the artifact's influence, we lose a valuable tool that could potentially turn the tide in our favor. He leaned back slightly, letting out a deep breath as he tried to weigh the benefits against the risks. It's a delicate balance, Kale admitted, his voice tinged with the strain of making such a critical decision. If we choose to use the artifact, we need to be prepared for the possibility of it backfiring. If we opt to neutralize it, we forego a powerful asset that might help us secure a decisive victory. Mara listened intently, her expression a mixture of concern and determination. She understood the gravity of the decision they faced and the potential repercussions of each choice. The stakes were high, and the wrong move could alter the course of their mission and their ability to thwart the assassination plot. As the room remained silent, the trio grappled with the implications of Kale's analysis. The artifact's role in their strategy had become a focal point of their mission, and deciding whether to harness its power or neutralize it was a crucial step that would shape their future actions and the ultimate success of their quest. Mara's gaze remained fixed on the artifact, its intricate runes seeming to pulse with a subtle, ominous energy. Her mind raced through the complex implications of their options, each scenario weighing heavily on her conscience. We need to consider not just the immediate impact, she began, her voice steady yet laced with an underlying tension, but also the long-term consequences of our decision. She paused, allowing her words to resonate in the quiet room, as her colleagues awaited her analysis. If we choose to use the artifact, Mara continued, her fingers lightly tracing the contours of the relic as if seeking clarity from its surface, we may gain a temporary advantage that could shift the balance in our favor. Her eyes met Kale's and Elara's with a determined intensity. However, there's a significant risk that this very power could exacerbate the chaos we're trying to prevent. The artifact's influence might inadvertently worsen the situation, creating new problems even as we attempt to solve the existing ones. Mara's expression shifted as she weighed the alternative. On the other hand, she said, her tone becoming more contemplative, if we decide to neutralize the artifact, we remove the immediate threat of its misuse. We ensure that it cannot be turned against us or exploited by our enemies. She looked at her companions with a mixture of resolve and concern. Yet, by doing so, we also forfeit a potentially invaluable asset in our struggle. The artifact's power could be a game changer, and losing that advantage might hinder our efforts significantly. Her gaze turned back to the artifact, the weight of the decision evident in her furrowed brow. This isn't just about whether to use or destroy the artifact, she elaborated, her voice carrying the burden of their situation. It's about understanding the broader impact of our choice. Each path presents its own set of challenges and consequences, and we must be prepared for the repercussions of whichever decision we make. Mara took a deep breath, her demeanor reflecting the gravity of their predicament. Our decision will not only affect our immediate tactical situation but also shape the course of our entire mission. We need to be strategic about this, balancing the potential benefits of wielding the artifact against the risks of intensifying the chaos. It's crucial that we weigh both options carefully, considering both short-term gains and long-term consequences. As Mara finished speaking, the room fell into a contemplative silence, each member of the trio absorbed in their thoughts. The artifact had become more than just a relic. It was now a pivotal element in their struggle, and the decision regarding its fate was a critical juncture in their quest. The weight of their choice would determine not only their immediate actions but also the overarching direction of their mission. The room fell into a heavy silence, each member of the trio deeply engrossed in the weight of their decision. The atmosphere was thick with tension as Mara, Kale, and Elara grappled with the gravity of the choices before them. The implications of their decision went far beyond the immediate tactical advantage or disadvantage. It held significant consequences for their overall mission and their future together. This moment of quiet reflection was not merely a pause in their ongoing struggle but a critical juncture that could alter the course of their entire endeavor. Mara's eyes flickered between Kale and Elara, her thoughts a whirlwind of potential outcomes and their impacts. The decision to use or neutralize the artifact was not just about strategy. It was a pivotal choice that would shape the direction of their efforts and determine their ultimate success or failure. The stakes were high, and every possible scenario played out in her mind, each carrying its own set of repercussions. Kale's brow furrowed as he considered the ramifications of their choice. His strategic mind was attuned to the broader consequences, understanding that this decision would affect not only their immediate plans but also their long-term goals. The bond they had forged through their shared trials and struggles now seemed to hinge on the outcome of this moment. Their collective trust and commitment to their cause were intricately tied to the choice they faced, adding another layer of complexity to their decision. Elara, who had been poring over ancient texts and artifacts for days, felt the weight of their predicament acutely. Her extensive knowledge and experience had brought them this far, but now she faced a crossroads where her insights would play a crucial role. The decision was more than a tactical maneuver, it was a test of their unity and resolve. Their future as a cohesive team and their ability to achieve their mission depended on how they navigated this pivotal choice. The bonds between Mara, Kale, and Elara had been forged in the crucible of their shared experiences. They had faced danger, uncertainty, and betrayal together, and their trust in each other had become a cornerstone of their efforts. Now, that trust was being tested in a profound way. The outcome of their decision would not only impact their current situation but also influence the strength and integrity of their partnership moving forward. As the silence stretched, the enormity of their decision became increasingly apparent. The choice they faced was not just about the artifact itself but about their ability to navigate the complex interplay of strategy, trust, and commitment. The future of their mission and the stability of their alliance rested on this crucial decision, making it one of the most significant moments in their journey. Their collective resolve and unity would be the deciding factors in overcoming the challenges that lay ahead. Elara's voice cut through the oppressive silence with a clarity that demanded attention. "We must weigh our options carefully," she began, her tone firm and resolute. "But we also need to act decisively." Her gaze swept across the room, meeting the eyes of both Mara and Kale. The gravity of their situation hung heavily in the air, and Elara's words carried the weight of their shared responsibility. The artifact, with its dual potential to either bolster their efforts or wreak havoc, represented both a significant opportunity and a grave risk. She continued, her focus unwavering. "The artifact's power could be our greatest advantage or our biggest threat." Her statement underscored the dual nature of their predicament, acknowledging that the artifact's potential for good was as pronounced as its potential for harm. The enormity of the choice before them was reflected in her eyes, revealing a depth of understanding about the stakes involved. The urgency of their situation demanded not just thoughtful consideration but also a readiness to adapt. Elara's strategic mind quickly shifted to a pragmatic approach. "I suggest we develop a contingency plan for both scenarios," she proposed, laying out a clear path forward. Her suggestion was to prepare for both the possibility of using the artifact to their advantage and the need to neutralize it entirely. This way, they could pivot based on how the situation evolved, ensuring they were prepared for any eventuality. Her proposal was a testament to her foresight and adaptability, qualities that had guided them through many challenges. Mara and Kale exchanged glances, their expressions reflecting a mixture of relief and agreement. Elara's proposal provided a structured approach to their dilemma, offering a way to navigate the complexities they faced. The idea of having a contingency plan resonated with their need for strategic flexibility in the face of uncertainty. The nods of agreement that followed signaled their collective resolve to tackle the issue with a balanced and proactive mindset. The room seemed to exhale collectively, the tension easing slightly as Elara's plan took shape. The notion of preparing for both scenarios allowed them to maintain their strategic edge while managing the inherent risks associated with the artifact. It was a pragmatic response to a complex situation, reflecting their ability to adapt and respond to the evolving nature of their mission. As they began to outline the details of their contingency plans, the atmosphere in the safe house shifted from one of apprehension to focused determination. Elara's proposal had provided a clear path forward, and their shared commitment to addressing the artifact's dual nature with strategic foresight strengthened their resolve. The collaborative effort to develop their plans underscored their unity and readiness to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they gathered around the table to formulate their plans, the gravity of their decision weighed heavily on their shoulders. Mara, Kale, and Elara were acutely aware that the outcome of their choice would not only influence the immediate course of their mission but also impact their futures in profound ways. The artifact's power loomed over them as a double-edged sword, its potential for both advantage and disaster making their deliberations all the more critical. Each member of the trio understood that their handling of the artifact could tip the scales between success and failure, shaping the trajectory of their struggle against the conspiracy. Mara's mind raced through the implications of their choices. She knew that their decision would affect not just the outcome of their current mission but also their long-term strategies and alliances. The artifact's potential to either fortify their efforts or backfire against them created a sense of urgency. Her focus was on ensuring that their plan was both effective and adaptable, reflecting her commitment to both their immediate objectives and their future stability. Kale, always the strategist, considered the broader consequences of their decision. He was keenly aware that the risks associated with using the artifact were significant, and any misstep could have far-reaching effects. The choice to either leverage the artifact's power or neutralize it entirely required a balance of caution and boldness. His approach was to anticipate every possible scenario, ensuring that their plans were robust enough to handle unexpected developments. His strategic acumen was vital in navigating the complexities of their situation. Elara's role in deciphering the artifact's power had been crucial, and she was determined to ensure that their approach was grounded in a deep understanding of its potential. She was aware that their decision would influence not only their current mission but also the broader political landscape. Her insights into magical artifacts and ancient lore provided a crucial perspective, helping them to assess the artifact's implications and devise strategies that were both informed and flexible. With their plan taking shape, the trio was united in their resolve. They knew that their decision would have lasting consequences, and their commitment to safeguarding their kingdoms and their own futures drove them forward. The artifact's dual nature required them to navigate a delicate balance, and their shared purpose provided a strong foundation for their efforts. As they worked together to finalize their strategy, the sense of camaraderie and determination strengthened their resolve. The atmosphere in the room was charged with a mix of anticipation and resolve. The weight of their decision was palpable, but so was their shared commitment to overcoming the challenges ahead. Mara, Kale, and Elara were prepared to face the complexities of their choice with a united front, knowing that their actions would shape not only the immediate outcome of their mission but also the future of their kingdoms. Their careful planning and mutual support underscored their determination to navigate the uncertain path ahead with both wisdom and courage. The decision was made, and with it came a profound sense of both relief and apprehension. As Mara, Kale, and Elara embarked on the next phase of their plan, each bore the weight of their choice with a heavy heart. They understood that their actions would have consequences extending far beyond their current mission, affecting not only their immediate struggle but the broader landscape of their kingdoms. The magnitude of their decision added a layer of pressure, amplifying the significance of every step they took. Despite the uncertainty that lay ahead, they found solace in their unity and shared commitment. The challenges they faced were daunting, but the strength of their bond provided a solid foundation from which to tackle the obstacles in their path. The camaraderie and trust they had built through their trials offered a beacon of hope, guiding them through the turmoil and giving them the fortitude to face the uncertain future with determination. Each member of the trio approached their roles with a renewed sense of purpose. Mara's strategic insight, Kale's tactical acumen, and Elara's knowledge of ancient lore combined to form a cohesive plan aimed at mitigating the risks associated with their decision. They worked seamlessly together, their synchronized efforts reflecting the depth of their partnership and their resolve to navigate the complexities of their situation. As they pressed forward, the weight of their choice was ever present, shaping their actions and decisions. The potential for both triumph and failure loomed large, and the stakes of their mission were higher than ever. Their hope was that their decision would ultimately lead to victory, preserving the hard-won bonds they had forged and securing a future free from the threat that had loomed over them. In the midst of their preparations and strategic maneuvers, there was a palpable sense of anticipation. The path they had chosen was fraught with challenges, and the outcome remained uncertain. Yet, their resolve remained unshaken. The strength of their unity provided a reassuring anchor, even as the future remained unpredictable. As the day of reckoning approached, Mara, Kale, and Elara carried their burdens with a mixture of hope and determination. They knew that the success of their mission depended not only on their individual skills but on their collective ability to confront and overcome the trials that lay ahead. With their decision made and their commitment to each other, and their cause unwavering, they prepared to face the coming challenges with courage and unity.